Although the surface of our planet consists largely of water, we humans do not even notice many things that happen on the world's oceans. With this video, we want to change that, and therefore, we want to show you incredible moments and shots on the high seas that will amaze you, and prove that the sea is also a place full of sensations. Let's start with number 10, and the proof that no matter how big a ship may be, the sea is always stronger. Because even if cruise ships are actually very calm and safe in the water due to their size, they do not always come against the force of nature. In this video, you can see how a relaxed vacation trip escalates for the passengers when the ship is tilted. Objects fly through the area, and it is visibly difficult for the guests to stay on their feet. Even a swim in the ship's own swimming pool is certainly not a good idea while the ship is in a storm. In particular, the fact that the water masses were even able to make their way from the outside to the inside via the stairs may well have been unsettling for the cruise participants. We continue with number 9, and a fascinating phenomenon that was captured on video 5 years ago in the middle of the South Pacific in the Solomon Islands. The Solomon Islands are an archipelagic state consisting mostly of hundreds of small islands. But here is the first time to see how such an island actually comes into being. It is namely eruptions of undersea volcanoes, as seen in this video, which gradually eject lava, which then cools and forms into an island. So the clip actually shows the birth of an island. Now we come to number 8, and a violent moment which the TV presenter Steve Leonard and the Arctic expert Jason Roberts experienced 7 years ago, when they were on the way with a small boat in the Arctic to look for polar bears. On their search, they were passing huge icebergs, which they estimated to be 40 to 50 meters high, and it happened. The icebergs started to collapse, and huge pieces broke off with a loud roar and fell into the water only a few meters away from the boat. The men immediately gave full throttle, and so they still managed to save themselves from the ice masses. On number 7 is a video that the offshore worker James Eaton recorded 6 years ago on an oil rig off the coast of Scotland, and which can make you seasick just watching it. After some storms had passed over the island, they hit the oil rig Borgholm Dolphin with full force. Huge monster waves made the massive steel structure sway back and forth like a toy. We continue with number 6, and a violent moment that diver Johan Potgieter experienced off the coast of South Africa. Johan was with his GoPro camera just 19 meters below the sea surface and thought nothing bad, when suddenly something happened that probably every diver fears. A great white shark suddenly appeared right next to him. Johan reacted as fast as he could and poked his harpoon at the predator, whereupon the shark swam away. Although Johan surfaced as fast as lightning, the shark also followed him to just below the surface of the water.
White! Pass off for the white!
Fortunately for the diver, the encounter ended well, and he was able to escape onto a boat. Now we come to number 5, and a helicopter pilot who has incredible skills. Flying a helicopter is of course not easy anyway, but when you find yourself in a heavy storm like the pilot in this video, and also have to land on a ship that is being shaken by huge waves, it doesn't exactly make things easier. Again and again, the targeted landing point shifts by several meters. Nevertheless, the pilot finally manages to land safely, even in the heaviest seas. On number 4 is a curious moment that a family experienced while canoeing on a body of water in Ukraine. They were paddling across the water when suddenly it seemed as if they were sailing in a jelly-like mass. Their boats were completely covered in jelly, and the surface of the water was barely visible. The cause of this unusual experience was then ultimately only harmless jellyfish. We continue with number 3, and an ultra-heavy moment that probably left everyone involved speechless. In contrast to land vehicles, ships have a decisive disadvantage. Their braking distance is very long, and they can only change direction very slowly. Of course, this means that it is difficult to avoid an obstacle if you don't see it coming a long time in advance. The two large ships in the video not only come dangerously close to each other, but here only the proverbial hair's breadth in missing for a collision. The ships inexorably approach each other, but miraculously, this moment turned out well, and neither the ships nor the crew were harmed. On number 2 is a fascinating moment on the high seas, which was captured by a camera drone 2 years ago. Everyone knows that blue whales are huge animals, but how big such an animal really appears, you can only see with your own eyes, or in this spectacular video. Here, we have an example for you, which swims along completely peacefully directly under a 6.5-meter long boat. Although the owners of the boat are daily on the sea for many years, something like this has never happened to them until this day. And what is really impressive is that it's not even a full-grown blue whale. On number 1 is a video showing the launching of a ship. That is, the moment when a ship is launched from land into the water. With a ship as large as this one, the impact of the many tons of cargo alone creates such a large wave that the camera can hardly save itself. Those were the 10 most intense moments on the high seas. Write us in the comments which clip you found the most awesome. If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe to us. See you next time, here at Wonderlane.